Howdy y'all, it's Rock the Jake, and welcome to another episode of Sweet Tea in a Movie. This time we're talking about Rush. Sometimes I drink a little too much sweet tea, and sometimes it just gives me a bit of a sugar rush.
And I just start talking really quickly and talking about whatever I want to talk about, like,
why is a lot of wood brown, and why is the sky blue, and why is the sun actually white instead of yellow? And only in space is it yellow, or in cartoons or in other things. And how come My Little Pony is such a popular thing? I don't really get it. I mean, it's just a bunch of colored ponies. How come people have such a problem with it? How come people like it so much? Where's the thing about Powerpuff Girls?
So before I start the review, I want to say I'm going to be as objective about this as possible. The reason I say that is because before I saw Rush, I saw the movie Prisoners a week beforehand. You won't see a review for the movie from me, because I'm not qualified to talk about it. I just don't feel that I am. Anything I say would not bring enough justice to the movie because it is fantastic, amazing material. It's like 11 out of 10. I'm saying that right now. Prisoners is amazing. Go see it if you haven't seen it yet. But be ready for a challenging movie. That said, Prisoners spoiled me because of how good it is. So maybe I didn't get the right feeling I should have gotten from Rush. But like I said, I'm going to try to be very objective about this review. So let's get it on. First off, let's talk about the acting. The acting in the movie is actually pretty dang good. Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl do a really good job of portraying their respective characters, James Hunt and Niki Lauda. They have really good play off of each other, and the two have their own interesting character growths, and I like that. It was interesting to watch them. The rest of the actors in the movie do a pretty good job too, but it's obvious who the main stars really are. It's, Chris Hemsworth and David Bruhl. And for a good reason, because they're entertaining to watch on screen, and they really do a good job of enveloping their role, which is good, because, for a movie like this, you need to be able to get into your character a lot. Which I'm sure for Chris was fun, because James Hunt was apparently a rock star of the F1 Formula race car circuit, so cool beans for him. So yeah, overall pretty good acting. The story. Despite the fact that this movie is a racing movie, it's also a movie that's very character driven. And so you spend a lot of time with the characters, which is perfectly fine, because, you need some good characters to be able to watch on screen. With that being said, in my opinion, you don't really get a good feel and look for the races until about halfway through the movie, when they actually show the racing instead of montages about who just won this race and maybe one car flies across the screen, something like that. So, I don't know, for a racing movie, I feel like it was kind of light on racing until the second half. So I was a little bit disappointed with that. But I understand that they were trying to go for the character development and character arc and stuff like that, and you gotta show what you gotta show at times. But I will say, when they start focusing on the actual F1 racing, it's pretty dang edge of your seat fun. Like, it's fun to be able to see first person what they're going through and be able to watch the cars just zip by so quickly. It's fun racing. It's, why people like NASCAR, but F1 racing I think is actually faster. So it's just, when they actually do show a lot of the racing, it's pretty dang fun. The first half of the movie can feel a little disjointed and maybe a little slow, but once it kicks into the second half of the movie, it really gets interesting and gets your eye going. So, pretty good job with the story. Music. Nothing to really talk about here. The movie score does what it needs to do, and it is kind of cool that they use some licensed 70s music, since the movie takes place during the 70s. To good effect. So, I don't know, it's not really much to talk about, but I guess just good use of music, even though I don't really remember any of it. So, on music. And now the settings and cinematography, stuff I really want to talk about. As far as the settings and the areas and everything, they are really great. Another movie that takes place in England, so you get to see the English countryside in all of its beautiful glory. I love it. The greens of the fields and the blues of the sky are all captured so very well, and I absolutely love the colors. It looks so good. And then you get to go to different places in the world because it's F1 Formula Car racing, so there's a Grand Prix all around the world. You get to go to places like Germany and Japan. I especially like Japan because of just how heavy the storm was there, the rain, and then the fog that showed up, and it all just looked so good on screen. I loved it. It looked great. But I need to talk about the cinematography too. Now, this may be a personal thing, but I feel like the stylistic choice to make everything look almost out of focus a lot of the time for the cameras was not a great choice, because it's fairly distracting and it just looks weird. To its credit, it does give the movie a pretty warm feel at times, which is good, and it looks pretty good too. But when it's not really looking good, it's pretty distracting, and it's just, I know it's a stylistic choice that they wanted to go for, and props to them for making that choice, because it gives the movie a unique look. But that can be divisive on whether you like the look or not. And personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the fact that everything looks like it's out of focus at times. You do what you do, and if it looks good, it looks good. If it doesn't, then it definitely doesn't, because as many film people will tell you, the camera doesn't lie. So overall, really cool settings, problematic cinematography, in my opinion. As far as extra notes go, I have a few to say. I mean, there's some swearing in it, it's a rated R movie, but I had a problem with the fact that since James Hunt, played by Chris Hemsworth, is such a rock star of the racing circuit, he gets ladies, and there's gratuitous nudity, and I wasn't really a fan of that because I'm just like, really? You get these ladies on screen just to show off their goodies? Really? You couldn't do something better? I don't know. And also, as far as any violence in the movie, there's a scene where a man is burned alive inside of a crashed vehicle, and you don't see like skin melting or anything, but it's pretty hardcore, so be prepared for that. Overall, Rush is actually a pretty cool movie. It's got some really good racing scenes, it's got good character development, and it's pretty interesting to watch. Like I said, to me the story felt a little disjointed and slow in the beginning, but once it got into the second half, it got better. The movie has its fair share of good and its problems, but I think it all still makes for a pretty interesting and fun watch. So I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. I personally don't think it's great, and that's nothing to say against Ron Howard, he's a great director, but I don't know, something about this movie I just couldn't, I felt a little disappointed. I was hoping for more, and I got less, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. To be completely objectional, it's a pretty dang good movie. It's got great acting, great settings, interesting cinematography, great racing scenes. So if you like that stuff, check it out. Well, I'm done for now, so see you later. Peace.